Shalom, family.
Shalom.
As promised, we are back again, and we are going to be broadcasting live on both the Watchman Reports channel and on Redirecting. Okay. And of course, what we wanted to talk about were our concerns with the address from the African Union ambassador to the diaspora. Okay. We're going to be just bringing forth some questions, things that we would want to know.
Yes.
And first of all, we want to say this, that anyone who follows this ministry knows that we are all about unification and love and respect among our people.
Yes.
That is first and foremost. And so, we being a part of the diaspora, we definitely have a right to address our concerns.
Yes.
And so that is what we are going to be doing here today. We just wanted to let it be known up front for those of you who don't know, which most of you should know, that we love our people wherever they are, whether here or on the continent. That is what we feel for our people, but there are some things that need to be addressed as well. And so that is what we're going to be doing.
One thing I want to say quickly too is this here. I think that there is a misunderstanding with the way people that are in Africa view us that are in the United States or
Yes.
that are from the islands or wherever, you know,
In the Caribbean,
those that's
yes.
in the diaspora. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the way they don't understand us and why we respond sometimes the way we do, and sometimes we have a lack of trust and different things like that, and they don't quite understand it. I think if you would listen to us and some of the things we want to say, you'll understand why we think the way we think. It's because of our struggle and what we've been through.
Now, one thing we wanted to bring to the forefront as well is that we realized that some of us were sent into captivity or slavery, while others were colonized. So we all have our experiences. And one thing I wanted to say too before we get into this is that we did a video recently on the Redirecting channel where we were addressing some friction between those of us here in the United States and those in Africa, because there was a rebuke video that came out of Africa, and all of a sudden we see all these other videos going up from our people here in America. They felt a little insulted, okay, a lot insulted. So this is why all of those videos started coming up, and so we just kind of wanted to interject a neutral voice into it, because we know, we understand, and we realize, and shalom to our family in South Africa. We love you all over here. You see, we love our African family. We wanted to interject a neutral voice because we see that there are issues on both sides,
Yes.
right? And no one has a right to point the finger at the other. But I wanted to say thank you to all of those who commented on that particular video from Africa. Many of you commented. As a matter of fact, there was some nice dialogue that I would encourage some of you here in the U.S. to go and read. I saw some dialogue between a couple of different people from Africa that they were talking together. As a matter of fact, one of them I see in the chat right here, Hosea 1, and it was another person that were dialoguing together, and I noticed their dialogue and how they were talking about their experience in Africa with their family, and they've left and they've moved abroad as well, but they had some real true testimonies of what it was like to be in Africa and how they feel about us, in which we don't believe that all Africans feel the same about us here in the diaspora, and neither do we all feel the same about those in Africa. Okay? A lot of us have a great deal of love and respect for our family abroad, but we haven't always received that.
Yes.
And so we shared some of our testimony. Okay? We've shared some of our testimony. Now, we are going to get into the speech.
Right.
Okay. First of all, the speech was very eloquently spoken.
Yes.
Okay. She is a great speaker, the ambassador, and so that part we wanted to say up front. She is a great speaker. And we're also going to be looking at questions as we're doing this, okay?
Yes.
But in the meantime, we want to stay on focus and on topic here. That being said, she's a great speaker. But, of course, because the speech was really directed at us, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that particular meeting took place in New York. And she's kind of making her rounds to various areas here in the United States, okay? But that speech, I believe, took place in New York. I could be wrong on that. It doesn't really matter. It was here in the U.S. that that particular speech was held. And she was speaking to a U.S. audience. Okay.
One thing I wanted to say real quickly, too, is that it's kind of like you really have to watch her complete video.
Yes.
Because it's almost like some are saying as if they're trying to get all of us to come back to the United States. I mean, back to Africa, and really, that's not what the video is about. It's not about trying to get all of us that's in the diaspora to come back to the States. I mean, come back to Africa. So you really got to watch the whole video.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we would encourage you to watch the whole video.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it was, in my opinion, we kind of feel like it was spoken to us in a way to have us to believe that they were asking for all of us to come back.
Yes.
Okay, when that is not the case at all. So we're going to get into this. We have some notes here, some questions that we have. Okay, some questions that many of you may have, because I've seen a bit of the dialogue from others. And we feel that it's a bit deceptive to say that the African Union ambassador has devised a plan for the diaspora to return home.
Yes.
Okay, we feel that that was a very deceptive statement, and we will explain why. Because many of us have that desire.
Yes.
To go back to Africa. Many of us do.
Yes, we do.
Over the years, I've seen a lot of us express that. You know, we've been taught one thing. You know, what they put before us in the cameras, you know, the deceptive media, they want to show us the bad in Africa, the people starving, the conditions in which some of the people live. They show all of that because they have an agenda.
Right.
And their agenda was, okay, we're going to promote all the pity of Africa, all of the bad things of Africa, so that you all that are here would have no desire to repatriate back to Africa.
That's why they always show people. They show images of people, flies on them, and like every place in Africa is dirt. There's no grass. You know, when you see grass, you see lions on it. I mean, everything is just the image is painted, and what diseases are everywhere. You know, you got to be careful. The Ebola and all this old stuff. You know, so AIDS running rapid. You know, they try to make you think that that's what it's about in Africa, but it's not.
Right. And then on the same token, I noticed that a few people made this statement in our comments, that they did the same over in Africa, where all they show you guys about us here in America, they show you the negativity. They show the violence. They show the rudeness. They show all of those things. It's not to say that those things don't exist,
Exactly.
but they don't tell you how these things even came about. They don't tell you the divide and conquer devices that took place over here.
Yes.
Right? Now, through history, we know the divide and conquer that took place in Africa, how they divided up the land and they distributed it amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, again, there are tactics being used against us, but how we deal with those tactics is very, very important. Now, what we have experienced with a lot of Africans, not all, because again, we have met some very pleasant Africans. I must keep saying that because they accuse us of being rude and painting all of them with one brush, and that is simply not the case.
No.
But we have experienced ill treatment from many people in Africa, those that come over here, and they make it clear. They say we are not the same.
Talk down on you,
Right.
different things like that, yeah.
And we had some out of Canada actually say that Africans go there and do the same thing towards Canadian Africans or African Canadians. And someone from the Caribbean said that they do the same there. So that first needs to be addressed. Now let's get into this, family. There was an issue of trust brought up from our dear sister, the ambassador. Okay. One thing that she stated was that she first gave us some of the history of King Leopold and some of the things that happened in Africa, in which Watchman and I knew a lot about those things. We study history very deeply.
Yes.
This is why we knew and we understood that most of the tribes are still in Africa, most of the tribes of Israel. And so we knew a lot of the history in Africa. Mm-hmm. And so when she was explaining that, we were like, we're in total agreement with that. But when the issue of trust came up, she stated that why is it that we don't trust each other? Why is that? Right?
Why a lot of us over here don't trust the Africans over there. Mm-hmm. If you got to understand something, you got to understand what we've been through as a people here in the diaspora. Mm-hmm. Okay, just understand where we're coming from on this. Okay, we were sold into slavery. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we didn't travel here because we wanted to be here.
Right.
We were sold into slavery, and then it turns out that it was our own people, black folks like us, that sold us into slavery. Okay.
And we know too that there was a strong hand behind it. We know that
that's right.
People were probably paid off, and we know that there was an army that was enforcing this, but there were willing participants willing to sell us. Right?
Exactly.
So we know that it goes both ways. There were the buyers and there were the sellers. There was the strong hand forcing this, and there were the willing partners who took part in this.
Yes, and then after being in slavery for all of these years, okay, we're still in the land of our captivity, okay? Mm-hmm. And down through the years, we have experienced some very horrible things from not just the Europeans, but even from our own people.
Yes.
Okay, and then when you come across some of our people that are in Africa, they refer to us the same way that the Europeans refer to us, as the N-word, the N-word.
Well, one sister in the comment section, I'm not going to say names, I'm just going to say, because you can refer to the comments on the video I spoke of that I did concerning the rebuke out of Africa. But she said that she was married to an African, and he said to her one time that the white man thinks that I'm better than you. And so there's that clear divide that is between us that needs to be squashed, okay? But before we can squash that, trust does need to be established.
Yes.
I would like to say that trust is something that is not given. It has to be earned.
You gotta earn trust.
It has to be earned. And so what we're talking about here is the whole idea of them setting up a way for the diaspora to return. There was the talk of us sending money. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so many of us are excited about this because we're always looking for ways on how to get back into Africa. But we have to look at things for what they are. Yeah. Like I said, it's very deceptive to say that the African Union ambassador has devised a plan for the diaspora to return. Now, I noticed that most of the speech was directed towards us here in the U.S. Yes. Now, the diaspora does not just consist of us here in the U.S. You have the Caribbean, South America, those in Canada, those in Europe, European nations, and other areas around the world. So we are all over. The scripture says that the tribe of Judah will be scattered to the four corners of the world.
That's right.
But I noticed that much of the speech was directed towards us here in Africa. I'm sorry, African Americans.
That's right, in America.
Much of the speech was directed towards us. And this is the concern we have, because there was a time in which Haiti wanted to be members of the AU.
That's right.
This was years ago. They wanted to become members. And it wasn't too long after they had experienced their, that horrible earthquake,
Yeah.
right? But they were not immediately accepted. It was years that went by before they were allowed. Okay, very recently they were allowed. And so we have some really big concerns about what the African Union is proposing. We don't want to feel like, and if anyone can answer some of our questions,
Yes.
that would be great. We don't want to feel like they are asking for our money, but we come later. Okay? So let's get into some of this, family.
They spoke about what was it, $20 a month? Was it
$10.
$10 a month? Okay, that if you could send $10 a month and all this, and you do the math. Okay, let's say a person sends $10 a month. Okay, for a year, that's going to be what?
$120.
$120, and he does that for 5 years, right? That's going to be what, close to $600. Now you ask yourself, okay, wait a minute, $600 is not going to get me and my family over to Africa.
Right.
So I done gave for 5 years, and that's not going to get us in Africa. As a matter of fact, I can give for 20 years,
And that's not.
and that still ain't enough to get me and my family over to Africa. So our concerns is then, what is this money for?
And they explained that
Yes.
in the speech.
Yes.
The money is, they said that it would still be ours. It would just be in a credit union there, but it would still be ours. But typically with a credit union, you still have access to your money, right? And with the money being there, I guess it would have to be through some type of ATM card or something. But that is not what was said in the speech, even though they said putting this money into a credit union, in which I wish there can be some more dialogue on exactly what they proposed, because I believe they said that they didn't have it all figured out yet. But we do feel that they have the part figured out where we in the American diaspora, because they gave the 50 million, they said if 50 million of us here sent this money to Africa, okay, they said that the money would be for certain things, basically the development in Africa. Now the part that got us, a lot of people were believing that they were setting things up for us. No, that's not what the money is for. It's for to build hotels and hospitals and to build their infrastructure.
Yeah.
So it sounds more like an investment.
Yes.
But the part where we would actually benefit from
Or get a
the investment or
return
get
from
some
it.
type of return, that
Yes.
part wasn't spoken about.
Right.
Okay. Now, those of you who believed that this was for us, as the person stated, a plan for us to return home, when you, as Watchman stated, when you do the numbers, 5 years of giving $10 a month won't even buy one of us a plane ticket. So if you have a family,
Exactly.
if you have a family, so it sounds like this is something that's more of an investment, and it's for a future return home.
Yes.
But there was nothing speaking about how we were to return home.
Yes.
Now, when you listen to the whole message, she actually states who they're referring to. Even though the 50 million was the whole population here in the American diaspora, for all of us to send 120, I believe she said it would be over $1 billion, 1.2 billion or something like that, if we all gave $120 a year or $10 a month. She gave the figures on what that would total up to, and that's basically for us to have a voice in the AU, but it's not for us to get there to Africa, right? And so when she stated something about some of us actually coming to Africa, she clarified what she meant. She said, we want the best of the best. And she named the best of the best being doctors and
Physicians,
pediatricians and people with money, pretty much. In other words, it sounds to us, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, please do. It sounds like they're trying to extract money from all 50 million, but as far as physical bodies coming there, people or us, they're only trying to extract the best of the best, in which she defined what she believed the best of the best to be. So they're not looking for postal carriers, they're not looking for garbage men, they're not looking for just regular people, they're looking for the best of the best.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm sorry, family, but many times people speak their minds without even realizing what they're saying. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When they clarified who they wanted to actually come from the diaspora, they said the best of the best.
This is why we here in the diaspora are so skeptical, and why we have there are trust issues. Okay, because it's like folk are really after our money more than anything. Why we're considered liquid money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about this, right? When you look at the United States and our people that's in the United States and how much money we spend on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If we stop spending, it would literally cripple the economy, probably all over the world, and everybody knows this. And so, and please don't misunderstand us. We don't have a problem with, and we love the idea that people want to go over to Africa and help those people over there that are in need. You know?
Our people from here.
Our people from here. We totally support those people who want to go over and help feed these people, want to go help them, want to send money to help and do all of this to help people. We're not against that. So don't take our words and twist them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
We're not against all of that. But when we hear of this type of thing, where it's coming forth, where it's almost like, yeah, send us $1.5 billion, $1.2 billion a year, and so we can build up our infrastructure, and we ourselves have issues
and
too,
needs.
and needs too. So we don't mind sending some money over there, but I mean.
Personally, when we say we don't mind sending money, there are groups of our people
Yes.
here in America, Israelites.
Yeah.
We all have a love for our people.
Yes.
We have people that are going over there as we speak, groups of our people
Yes.
going to some of the villages and some of the tribes, and they are taking help and money and resources. We applaud that. We are all for that. But when
Yes.
we have an organization, and no disrespect to our African brothers and sisters, because we would love to be able to help directly
Yes.
the people,
Yes.
right? Because we have a love for the people. But when it comes to an organization telling us to send money over to the AU, we are a little bit skeptical of that. We feel like they're trying to tap into the liquid money. And let me tell you why. The sister made mention of the churches and all of the millions and billions that they collect. And so they are eyeing and targeting the money that African Americans are collecting on a weekly basis, right? So she made mention of the churches and all their money. She also made mention of a couple of credit unions. She says, I'm eyeing this particular black credit union in this particular state. So eyeing means that they are following the money trail. Understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
It sounds like the ambassador is following the money trail. But she's appealing to all of us in the diaspora to send our $10 a month.
Yes.
And we feel like we're being sold some type of dream or a promise of a return home, when we all know that that money is not going to get us home. $10 a month is not going to get one of us home. That's not going to even buy the plane ticket.
Sure ain't.
You see. And so we need to understand, we want our people to understand that really what they're saying is you are buying an investment opportunity in Africa. But we need your money, okay? We can't promise you when you'll get a return on that investment, but this is what it is. But when we are being told or lured into something as if this is a way for us to get back to Africa, that is deceptive. And our people need to look at the speech yourself. Take some notes.
Take some notes.
Okay, don't
Listen
take our word for it. We listen to the whole thing.
We're going to put the link too, so you can go and look at the speech.
Absolutely. Go and look at it for yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can get a better understanding of what is saying and things that you need to pay attention to. Because again, they are looking for the best of the best. Now, one thing we wanted to note is when they were talking about the issues of trust, right?
Yeah.
They made mention of some things. They established the fact that they're trying to get all of the leaders of Africa to come together, right, all of the leaders to come together to do certain things, right? As it relates to even this. So that, and then they're saying that we would have a better chance of getting into the AU if we could present them with 1.2 billion from the diaspora, specifically the American diaspora. Let's present them with 1.2 billion to show them that you're serious, right? Okay. Again, I love how eloquently the sister spoke. And a lot of you refer to it as a powerful speech. And that is exactly what it was. But those who are listening will understand where we are coming from, okay? When they said that we need to start trusting each other, first you have to earn that trust. They made a statement about how the African leaders are coming together, right? Now think about this. Then they said we need to stop paying attention to the African leaders who are getting $1 billion from corruption, a corrupt deal. Stop paying attention to him. We focus too much on that. They're focused too much on that leader. But in one vein, they told us that these are the leaders that they are presenting these proposals to. Okay? So don't focus on the corrupt African leader. Focus on the 500 billion that the French leader is carrying away from here. They told us, worry about that, forget about this over here. But these are the people that you're telling us that are coming together, that are gonna try to do things.
Not only that, get this, where did the corrupt African leader get the billion from? He got it from the French. Because the French came over there and the French said, hey, we're going to help you dig up these diamonds, or we're going to help you get this oil and all sorts of things. We're going to pad your pocket with some of it, if you let us come into your country and get these things. And then another thing too they brought up was about how they talked about how they got all of the wealth there, all of the diamonds, the gold, and just all of these things are there. And but they paint a picture. I want to say this real quickly. They paint a picture as if we, the diaspora, is the anchor.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, we came from Africa. Why are we the anchor? Is it because of our money? But why are we the anchor when Africa itself, with all of the gold, the oil, the diamonds, all these rich minerals, it should actually be the anchor?
They pointed out too, and they said the vibranium, and the crowd roared at that because she's talking to an American audience, and so they're appealing to our desires to repatriate, and so that's why they threw in the vibranium, right? To get a rise out of us, to get us excited about something. But all they're really asking us to invest in Africa. But one thing that we have to note is, when the fact that she pointed out that they have all of these riches there, in which they do, who is controlling these riches, right? And from their own admission, there are some corrupt African leaders. So because Africa hasn't been able to control their own resources and even deal with their own poor population, this is why we have concerns. What about your own poor people? What about those in Africa who have money? Why can't those in Africa who have access, like she said, this is ours. She said that all of that wealth in Africa is theirs, and that is only 10% of the wealth of Africa has been tapped into. And while I agree with her and I believe her, it is unrealistic to believe that our money from the African American money is going to get us a seat at the table.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like I said, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems so, like we're being presented something that seems to be, you want to get excited and say, oh, what they're trying to do, and then when you really listen to it all carefully, and you sit there and you say, well, wait a minute, what is actually being said here? What is our money going to be used for?
Right.
What actually is it going to be used for? And then she did admit that they don't have it all figured out. Okay, but why not get this thing all figured out first?
Before collecting money.
Before trying to collect our money.
And then give us a clear understanding of who exactly you're trying to get to come back, because from what we saw in the video, I see that there are some African brothers and sisters in here. who don't think we understood the speech. Well, it was made very clear, and we can all draw our own conclusions based on what was said, but did she not say that they are bringing back the best of the best?
Yeah, those are
Did she
exact
not
words.
say that?
And she clarified what she mean. The doctors and the physicians and the pediatricians and pretty much. Now, listen, pay attention. We don't have a problem with our doctors. If some of our doctors want to go to Africa, want to help out over there or whatever, we're for all of that. Don't get things twisted. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're for all of that. We're simply saying that, okay, you all want us to give X amount of dollars. You want the diaspora to give X amount of dollars to help Africa, but our concern, and to understand us, try to understand us where we're coming from, okay? Back to what I was saying about us being in slavery all of these years, and no one came looking for us, okay? No one came looking. As a matter of fact, it's hard to even see anyone in Africa even talk about the mistreatment that we're getting over here. When Trayvon Martin got killed and Michael Brown, it's hard. You rarely see anybody even put up anything or say anything concerning some of the stuff that we're going through over here, that we're dealing with, like the brother who just got killed in his apartment by an officer. You know,
why is Africa not talking about Botham, Shem, John?
Yes, we got our struggles too that we're going through, right? And when apartheid was going on, we were right there. We were right there protesting, you know, and all of that. So
I want to answer a question to the advice show. I see that Brother Phil wants to know, why don't we question the white man about what he is doing with our money? We never dare to challenge him in this manner, but we are dissecting the AU. That's my issue. Okay, well, we're going to address that to Brother Phil. This is the first time we've seen him in our chat, by the way. Many of us do question the white man about what they are doing, and as a matter of fact, many of us have our own business and do our own thing because we don't invest in no types of stocks or mutual funds or anything, although we used to before we knew and understood the truth. Years ago, we had investments, but we decided that we wanted to do our own thing because we didn't want to trust anyone with our finances or our money because we know how they operate too. Many of us have the same questions and concerns about them, which is why when people come to us about investing in the stock market and things of that nature, we just kind of turn and look the other way because we are not interested.
That's right.
Now, our concerns, if you pay attention to what we're saying, is we are being fed a line that the AU is trying to bring the diaspora back.
Right.
And
that's not so.
Is that the case? They said with their own mouth, they made it very clear that they were referring to the best of the best.
Right.
Okay? They're referring to the best of the best. This is not a plan for all 50 million of us here in America to return. And what about those in the Caribbean and South America and Canada and other regions? The tribe of Judah has been scattered to the four corners, but it seems like us here in America are the money targets. They want us to invest in Africa. And get this, since you're here, Brother Phil, we have a plan too that we think would be more suited for us in the diaspora that would still do the same things.
Yes.
Now, if they wanted to appeal to the diaspora all over the world, if we all did contribute $10, what if we did it to a credit union that one of us set up, okay? Meaning a few people here in America or some already established credit unions here in America. We make those same deposits into those black-owned credit unions, and then we all devise a plan with that money, as they are stating, and we go to the areas of Africa, such as Ghana, who has offered land to the diaspora. You see, I don't know of any other offers such as that. And this is to individuals, not to just corporations or organizations, but individuals. What if we took that money and took them up on the offer of that land, and we built businesses and established villages where we in the diaspora could repatriate back? Because right now we feel like we're being asked to repatriate our money there, but not our bodies, unless we're the best of the best.
And trust me, we do question everybody about our money, period. Now that might not be for everybody. You know, some people they live a life blindly, and you know what I'm saying. But we're questioning this because they are coming to us with this. Just like if any European country were to come to us right now with this same proposal, we would be throwing the same questions at them.
Right.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even consider it.
I wouldn't even consider it either.
If they were to say, here, black people, give us $10 a month
Yeah.
so that you all can buy some land in Europe, or we wouldn't even, it wouldn't even be a question
Yes.
in our minds. But what we feel is happening with the AU is that they are appealing to the desire of many of us to return to Africa, but they are not being forthcoming with everything. When you state that that this is a way for the diaspora to return, most of us would think that that includes all of us, and that's the point we were trying to make here. That doesn't include all of us, but they are asking all of us for money. We have no problem at all supporting our people in Africa. As a matter of fact, I used to, when I was a kid, teenager, I barely had any money. But when I would see the images out of Africa, I sent money. And I felt like that was my child that I adopted, even though I myself was just a teenager. Because I have a true love for my people, you see. And so in my opinion, what Watchman and I are doing is looking out for our people. We're not saying to anyone not to move to Africa, because if we could take our whole family, we would be on the first thing smoking out of here. We are just saying that these people in Africa are telling us to look the other way at the corruption in Africa and only focus on the French, but don't look at the corruption that they are doing. When I see African leaders living high on the hog, and they are wealthy, their families are wealthy and taken care of, but I see most of our people, or many of our people, living in shanty towns, I have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. Even here in America, we see that happening. We are not even trying to deal with our own issues here. I mean, we just saw a video earlier today that brought tears to my eyes, where our people down in this county in Alabama, they are living in squalor, but we hear nothing about this.
And you got all these rich folk, you know, black folk, that ain't even paying those people no mind, and those people need our help dearly down in this area. So,
yes, our own people need our help, but again, we don't want anyone to get this twisted. We definitely support our brothers and sisters here that go to Africa and take funds, and when they set up GoFundMe's to take money over there, we support that 100%.
Oh yeah, we support that.
And I'm sorry if people feel like we don't question the white man, but anyone who have followed this ministry for any amount of time know that is not us, certainly. That is not us.
Yeah.
You see, we like to be fair and balanced, but at the same time, we have a population over here to look out, and Africa is going to look out for Africa. And since they have all of this wealth, all of these resources, we definitely agree, and we've spoken on this before on our channels, that they should tap into what the African leaders should be doing. Is they should all come together with their resources and do exactly what they're trying to get us to do.
Let me tell you, the resources in Africa far go past all of the wealth that we in the diaspora have, and we know it. Okay, the problem is they're allowing the Europeans to come over and get this wealth when they themselves should be tapping into this wealth. Okay.
Now, if they all join together, I mean, they can put a stop to that.
Yes.
We understand that they kill people who try to rise up, but what if they all rose up together?
Yes. Absolutely. So, it's, you know, this is one of those, and like we said, don't misunderstand what we're trying to say here. Don't misinterpret what we're saying here. You know, like we said before, we would love to go back to Africa. Would love to. Matter of fact, we saw videos of certain areas over in Africa, and we were like, man, if we could just get up enough money to be able to just move our family there, we'll gladly go there.
As a matter of fact, I remember years ago, we saw where a group of people here in the U.S.,
Yes.
a group of so-called black people, they pooled their resources and they did repatriate back to Africa. All we are saying is that those in the diaspora, what if we pooled our resources here together, and if we wanted to move groups of us there and establish businesses and do that, to me sounds more appealing than us sending our money over there to build an infrastructure that we can't take part in. It sounds more like they want us to send the funds. They will handle the assets or control the assets, and we will just have a voice in them.
Yes.
You know, kind of like an appointment.
I think that this thing got to be thought out. Anything that we're going to do as a people that on such a large scale as something like this, it got to be thought out. It got to be, especially before you really ask money. You know, I think they need to work out all of the bugs and talk about this thing and talk about it with people who ain't, just willing to just jump on board to anything that's being said to them just because it comes from someone out of Africa.
Well, again, to address your question again, Phil, we listened to the whole speech.
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, we did hear where she said you says if you listen to the part of the speech where she said we can invest and make money like the Chinese, whites, etc. In Ethiopia, they told me they'd rather do business with African Americans. Right, that's what we're saying. We understood that this was an investment plan, but we have to listen to everything.
Yes.
What they said, in which this would be the lure for most of us. The lure for most of us would be the fact that they are saying that the AU is attempting to provide or make a way for the diaspora to return home. And so many of our people got excited about that. If you look at some of the comments from people here in the U.S. on various channels, many of them are excited because they're not understanding what is being presented to them. They're only looking at one part. But when you pick apart the speech, it was not just about investment. It was also saying that they're going to bring the best of the best home. So what does that do for those who actually want to repatriate?
Yes.
That's to them a shattered dream, because a lot of times our people don't understand the fullness of what is being said.
Yes.
And so we wanted to expound on it a bit, because as an investment opportunity, I certainly see a great investment opportunity, but the only part we are being presented with right now is that we can send our money. This is what we're going to do with the money. They said it was a credit union, in which how can it be a credit union when we won't have access to the money? Typically, if you put your money in a credit union, you still have access to it. Just say that it's an investment. Don't tell us this right here as the lure, and then is an investment without even telling us how there's going to be any type of return on the investment. So
Yes.
again, we don't have any problems with presenting an investment opportunity, but make it clear.
Yeah, make it clear. You got an investment opportunity in Africa, and you need people to invest. Then you pull together all the right folks and come and present this thing and say, hey, this is the investment opportunity we have, and this is what you can get out of it, and this is and this is how we can build this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then it just say, hey, yeah, we want your money. We're going to build up our infrastructure, and then we're going to extract the best of the best and bring them over here.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is literally how it was presented. Mm-hmm. And so, and we welcome it. Go right ahead and explain things how it's supposed to be. Give us more clarification on how things are, because right now, we as a people, we are always getting...
Everyone's always after our money, even here in where we live. Even here in the U.S., people are always trying to extract money because they consider us to be liquid money.
That's right.
Everyone considers our people to be liquid money. This is why I believe the American diaspora is the real target at this point, you see.
Yeah.
But like we said, Africa does, everyone knows that they have a lot of resources. They have a lot of resources. And we feel that they should come together among all of the African leaders there and tap into, one at a time, go in there and tap into that. They feel that they can't do it without us, and I don't understand that. 1.2 billion certainly isn't going to do it. they have immeasurable wealth in Africa. And I think what they need to focus on doing is getting wicked leaders out of leadership. That is the first step.
Yeah, get the wicked leaders out of the leadership, and the leaders that are there need to come together and stop allowing the Europeans to come and just take what they will.
Now, we understand the whole strong arm thing that the white man does. I mean, they do it everywhere they go. But at what point do our people stand up and just finally say no more? Because, again, when you look at a lot of the comments under the video that I did on the Redirecting channel, a lot of them, they talk about the corruption in Africa and how a lot of our people there are still very westernized. They still love the colonial rulers. They still have a great deal of love for them. They worship them, you see. And so some of our people can't stomach that. And I'm talking about people from Africa.
Yeah.
And as long as they have that much clout in the African mind, how can we be sure that our investment is going to be of benefit to us? Because charity begins at home, then it spreads abroad.
Yeah, that's the word. It begins at home, then it spreads abroad.
I'm going to go ahead and post a link to the speech for those of you who are interested in that. I see Brother Matt has joined us. But family, don't get us wrong at all. We have a right to question anytime someone is asking us to send money basically to a foreign land, especially when we have not always been treated very kindly. We have a lot of great experiences with Africans. A lot of them follow our ministry, and we love them dearly. There's a lot of expressions of love towards us, right? But we also have other experiences in which we have shared how many Africans, they refer to us as you people, you ignorant African Americans, and we are not the same, but we're being asked to send our money.
They've even called us the N-word, just like the European, you know.
And from many of their own admissions, those that understand our plight, many of them, they explain why some Africans take on the attitude that they have towards African Americans. But we do know and we acknowledge that the tribe of Judah here in America and abroad, we do have issues that need to be dealt with. We will be the first to admit that, but that does not nullify the ill treatment that we get from our own people. You see, there were prophecies that talked about our condition in this land. And anyone in Africa who reads and studies the Bible, they will know that we are all fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to look for that link real quick.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for us?
Yes. Are there any questions?
The speech is about a little over an hour long, so I think it's well worth the listen because it was very empowering to hear what their plans are, but when we don't really see how we fit into those plans, but we're being asked for money, that should concern anyone.
I mean, it's easy to get a person to give, not give, let's say invest, okay? If a person come to me and a person say, I got this new thing that I'm doing, right? And it's somebody I know I can trust, right? I've dealt with them before. And this person come to me and they say, hey, oh man, you got to see this, brother. Look at this here. I just started this and it's taking off, but I need some investment money to help me really get it going. The person say, you know what, brother? If you invest X amount of dollars, I can give you this amount of return in this amount of time. The person sit there and say, oh really? Oh wow, that's nice. Oh sure, yeah, I'll invest with you. You know, and then after so much time, he get his return. He's like, wow, I got such a good return. I'm ready to what? Invest again. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So when someone come to you like that, then you can see everything. You get what I'm saying? So, but but it didn't seem like that's how this was presented to us.
Absolutely, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all. Again, there are populations in Africa that we feel are in dire need, and
Yes.
I have a hard time trying to figure out how the people in Africa are suffering so badly when they have all of those resources that she spoke of, and why no one in Africa, why they are not trying to pool their resources to extract those the wealth out of Africa. They're trying to pool resources from those who went into captivity. It's kind of backwards. When she talked about the anchor thing, how the Chinese come into Africa, take wealth, and they take it back home to their anchor. Based on what she's saying, then Africa should be the anchor. Africa should be the anchor. And so we should be able to go back there. But it sounds like they're trying to pull money from those outside of the anchor and bring it back, but not bringing us back. That's what it sounds like to us.
Yes.
So again, we encourage all of you. Let me see if we have any questions here. We do encourage all of you to go and see the speech for yourself. Again, everything sounds wonderful. Everything sounds wonderful for Africa. But as for us, we are not sure how that is going to help the people that are being asked for money at this time. Now, the general population, most of us are in need ourselves. Someone in the chat stated, you're asking poor people to send money to help build up an infrastructure for other poor people. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. You ever wonder why a lot of us want to come back to Africa? Well, a lot of us want to come back to Africa because we're sick of this stuff that we go through over here in the States. We're sick of the discrimination. We're sick of our young people getting killed in the streets. We're sick of by officers, and we just sick of all of that stuff, I have to be afraid of being out at night, not knowing if I may get pulled over by an officer that got some type of wicked agenda. We have to be careful about that kind of stuff. We have to be careful.
That's right.
And so it's a thing where it's like, this is the reason why we considered going to Africa.
Yes. Like someone pointed out here, they said a global diaspora fund that we vote in utter and complete transparency. Exactly, in keeping with what we said early on in the broadcast, that we need a global diaspora fund that is going to be controlled by the diaspora.
Yes.
That sounds more suitable, and it's nothing wrong with us feeling this way to anyone who is questioning why we wouldn't invest. We are not saying that we wouldn't invest in Africa. What we're saying is that Africans haven't proven yet. Trust is not given, it is earned. Africans have not proven yet that they can control their own assets.
When we say Africans, we're not talking about any Africans. We're talking about the leaders.
Right, because even the people of Africa are suffering under the rulership of Africans.
That's right.
Corrupt leaders. And so for our people in Africa, we feel for them. We have a great deal of concern for our people in Africa. So anyone listening to this from Africa, our concern is for you. But we see that the leaders are doing what they want to do. In any country in Africa, you can see how our people are living, and that should really break your heart to see this. But when you see those who are living high on the hog, but yet they're trying to extract money from other poor people from the diaspora, I'm not really sure if I can see this, you see, especially when many of us desire to be there.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, just a little message there, but hopefully we've shared, if hopefully we will see other speeches in which they can clarify, but so far, and one thing we wanted to deal with, okay, we have to talk about this part for those of you who are in the truth and know end time prophecy, okay?
Yes.
we have to talk about this part. The gathering of our people is going to take place, but the scripture tells us clearly how that's going to take place.
It tells us clearly how it's going to take place. Matter of fact, it lets you know that we're going to be gathered from all over the world, so we're not going to be back in Africa. We're going to still be gathered from all over the world. That's the scriptures, you know.
And it tells us how. As a matter of fact, it actually says that these other nations, they're going to send us away. They're going to actually pay for us to go back.
That's right.
To our ancient lands. They are.
Yep.
You see?
Yep. That's the word.
That's what it says. And so we're not trying to circumvent prophecy. Of course, it's okay. We have some of our people repatriating back to Israel, right?
That's right.
We have some of them going to Africa. And so our people are going to go to various places, but in mass, the mass exodus, that is not going to take place until the return of Yahusha. Simple as that. You know, the mass exodus is going to take place at an appointed time that the Most High has set forth. In the meantime, we have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You see?
That's right.
Those of you who are asking, Ruth says, how can I find out more about your plans and Watchmen's as an idea? Well, this is just something we were putting out there. There are already established black credit unions here. That would be something that we would want to direct towards them for anyone who is interested in repatriating, because we do know, if you all look at the documentary Black Without Borders, a lot of regular black folk from here travel to South Africa, I believe Durban, South Africa, to be specific, so that they can start businesses there. Some of them did meet some trouble. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But what they did was they traveled there and they started businesses. So they were a part of the move, right? When their money went over there, they went with it, right? They didn't just send their money, right? And so what we are saying is, if we were to do that as the diaspora, we would all love to be able to go there, or as many of us that would be interested, because not all of us are interested in going, right? But as far as the credit union here, what we were stating is that it would be interesting if there were black-owned credit unions here that could implement a plan where we could invest in Africa. So we would be killing two birds with one stone, but we would be controlling the assets, because Africans have to earn trust. We can't just give it, especially with the track record they have of dealing so closely with these Europeans. That's all we're trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're not giving them a hard time either. When we say that, those statements, they're facts that back up what we're saying. They're facts, okay, to back it up. And we're like that about anything and anyone. We have to be on guard. Okay? So don't misunderstand things. We are very on guard about any and everything, especially concerning investing and putting things in people's hands. You know, we got to know what we're dealing with, basically.
When you're telling people to invest, at least have some type of return, because a lot of people wouldn't have a problem with investing $120 a year, but we don't want to feel either.
Yes.
We don't want to feel either like we're just sending this money, but we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing comes of it. Because so far what we've been told is that they would be building hospitals and hotels and things of that nature. And so our question then would be this is something else to look out for. How are they going to pay the doctors? Are we going to have to keep feeding money in to pay the doctors to staff the hospitals? Are we going to have to see, we see how the money would come for the hotels. It would come through visitation. But how would the doctors that they're going to, which would include the best of the best that they're going to take out of America, how would they be paid? Is that something we have to continue to pay into? Or is there some type of insurance system in place in Africa that would pay the doctors that are going to be in these communities? That's another question that we had. Where is the money to pay the hospital staff going to come from?
Especially if we're talking about, and think about what we're saying, right? Especially if we're talking about a village that you're trying to get a hospital in, and you're going to get doctors there and all this. a lot of the villages, they don't have health care. They don't have insurance or any of this, anything set up to pay for a lot of this medical needs that they have.
Right.
So then there's other questions about that. How are they going to get paid and everything?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So is this something that we'll have to continue to give in order to? So we just had questions and concerns, and that I feel these concerns need to be
ironed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Okay. I keep trying to get the link to those of you who had, who wanted to see the
You couldn't find it?
I did have it, and I dropped it in early on, so I have to find it.
Maybe we
again.
can put it under in the
description area.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is it here. But those of you who are looking to see that speech, I think you should definitely take a look. It is worth looking at, worth checking into. And if there was some type of way we could actually ask questions of them directly, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That would be even better.
Absolutely.
Because then you can ask when and how is this going to be mutually beneficial. That was one of the questions we had. How will this be? Okay, here's the link. How will this be mutually beneficial to us that are actually sending the money? At what point? Because again, some of the people are poor. Some of our people here are poor. And so how will this be mutually beneficial to them when sending this money? At what point will they benefit from it? Okay, so this is Shabbat, family. We didn't want to hold you all too long.
Yes.
Let me just see here if we covered everything that we wanted to talk about. Okay, we talked about the corruption in Africa. Not to say that the AU is corrupt. We're not saying that at all.
We're not saying that they're corrupt at all.
Right. What we are saying is that they are asking us, they did say at one point in the speech, that they're asking us, don't focus on the corrupt leaders, while at the same time they told us that there are corrupt leaders who are going to be at the table. They're trying to bring them all together. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how many are corrupt or how many are not, but if those are some of the leaders that they are saying that they're going to bring together to make decisions on certain things, but they're telling us to ignore their corruption, it sounds a little strange to us. Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds a little strange. Really quickly here, like again, it sounds like they're following the money trail. They talked about the black churches and the black credit unions here in the U.S. So there's already focus, but individually they were saying that we all can invest too, $10 a month. So that sounds like a great idea for some of you who would want to do that, but I think you should ask questions as to how that is going to benefit you in the long run. And then also we need clarification since it's being presented to some of us as a way for us to return to Africa, but nowhere in her speech did they say that they were trying to bring all of us back. When you look at the diaspora, technically it's well more than 50 million. That's just the population here in the U.S. But those in other areas, down in Brazil, it's a lot more there than it is here. So why are they only trying to tap into this market? Do they plan on going to Haiti to give the same appeal for them to give $10 a month? Are they going to South America, the Caribbean? Are they going to be asking them the same thing? So those are the questions that we have. And if we've missed anything, we apologize because we wanted to be very thorough with this. Trust has to be earned. It is not something that is just given, okay? Not something that is just given. And we are in no way trying to get you to make a decision, the decision that we're going to make. You can make your own decision. Mm-hmm. If this is something you would want to move forward with, we have no problems with that. But for those of you who may not have paid attention to the broadcast, look at it and you can look at some of the someone here says, I'm just going to state what's here in the chat. They said Africa owes us reparations. They should be sending us $10 a month. Okay.
Because they sold us into slavery.
Because they sold us into slavery. But you know, we have a lot of opinions on this that are going out there across the internet. Some of you may want to do this, but some of us, we like to look at things closely. And when you're being asked to invest anything anywhere, look at the track record, right?
Yeah.
And so far what we've seen of those in leadership in Africa, I'm not sure I would be ready to do something like that. But what I would be willing and ready to do, if there were enough of us here, I would be willing to put our money together, go to Africa, to some of that land that is being offered to us, or even buy some land in Africa, build businesses that are going to support the local African economy. But at least I would be there to benefit from it.
Yeah.
You see? So much love to our family in Africa. Please don't take any offense. Many of you follow this ministry. We love you dearly. We love our family here. So we have to look out for our family here. Okay?
Yes.
We love our family in all of the diaspora. We love all of you.
Yes.
And so we just have to look out for each other, right? We don't like the fact that these European nations are in Africa stealing all of the resources, but you all have to stop letting them in too.
Yes.
You see? You have to stop letting them in. That's the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to enjoy the rest of our Shabbat, family.
That's right. Enjoy your day. Relax.
We love you all. And this is not meant to cause any type of division whatsoever. These are just questions that we in the diaspora have a right to ask.
That's right.
Because we are being asked for money, right?
That's right.
One other thing we forgot to mention, we noticed there were some African American young women, or should I say students, who went and they were asking why was there preferential treatment because of the minority loans. They only so much allocated for the Chinese, so much allocated for those of color, people of color, black people. And the answer that she gave to these African American students, to me, I didn't feel like it was fair. She says, why are you upset that they're giving it to Caribbeans or these other melanated groups? Why not go to them and ask to up the quota or take some from the Chinese or whatever? It wasn't that. I don't feel that these students were asking that it be taken from the Caribbeans. From what she said, the question was they feel like they were being not treated fairly, but they were being looked over in favor of melanated people or black people from the Caribbean. So sometimes us here in America, our students, we in general, sometimes we feel like we are overlooked, because there are people from the Caribbean too that say, oh, we are not the same. So it's something very specific about the tribe of Judah here in America. Everyone wants our money, but everyone puts us down too. And that's not to say that we are not without problems. Judah is a mess here in the U.S., yes. Right? But not all of us, right? Not all of us. Not all of our people are a mess. But likewise, thanks to some of you Africans that went into and commented on that video, you shed some light on the mess that your people are involved in over there as well. We see the things, we see the violence against each other over there. It should stop worldwide. We should learn how to love each other, period. But we are not there yet. It's going to take divine intervention for us to get there. Yeah. When I say divine intervention, the Most High is going to step in. He's going to have to step in to bring us back together in the spirit of unity and love, okay? Yeah. We don't just want our money to unify with Africa. We want our bodies to unify with Africa too, okay? Mm-hmm. We don't want to just send money over there and with the hopes and the desires and the dream of being able to come back there, but there's no real plan in place for that, okay?
Absolutely.
Love you, family. Thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
Okay.
Enjoy your day.
Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.
Shalom. You have to go to your other screen here.
Okay, thank you.